Hello everybody and welcome to Stan Wineman TV. I am your host Stan Rattan and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. We are going to look at a white wine that I have really fallen in love with recently and it's starting to catch on fire. At the store I work at, it's called Picpoul de Panay. This is an AOC in southern France in the Languedoc-Roussillon area of France. Picpoul is the grape. The region is called Picpoul de Panay. They have about 3,008 vine acres planted there. It's one of the few areas where they grow Picpoul. They do a little bit on Montpellier and some they've messed with in Portugal, and a couple other places have messed with it. I think even St. Klein Cellars in Washington State does a Picpoul there. Picpoul is literally translated into lip stinger. They call it that because of the high acidity of this wine, which is interesting because it can grow in warm climates like the Mediterranean area of southern France and still maintain its acidity. Take the cap off of this one. And same with James Mentone doing it in St. Klein Cellars. I mean, he's up in the gorge area and it's pretty hot up there, and yet he's able to produce a Picpoul that is fairly high in acidity. So it means lip stinger, 3,000 vine acres planted in southern France, and they have a big basin there called the Basin de Tau, and it's about 11 miles long. It separates Picpoul from the Mediterranean, and it's about 11 miles long. A lot of fishing, and half of France's, 50% of France's oysters come from the Basin de Tau. Pretty crazy. So you know that Picpoul matches well with seafood for sure, and depending on where these vineyards lie, where they pick them from, is going to determine how much salinity it has. Of course, the closer it is to the Mediterranean, the more saline elements you might get out of a Picpoul. Up further north, they have more jagged, rocky soil with limestone. Further south, it's mostly alluvial and sand soil. So there you have it, a little breakdown of Picpoul. We're going to bust right into them, and this is called the unique Picpoul de Panay. I have it rolling at the store for $11. Store meaning King's Market, for those of you who do not know where I work, which is in Friday Harbor, Washington in the San Juan Islands. This is one of Keith Johnson's wines. I'm selling it there for 11 bucks. I think the vintage, it's just a few vintages back. Let me see what I got here. 2022, but it's still drinking really well. So let's give the glass a rinse. The cool thing about this time of year, and I'm waiting for summer to really rock and roll, it hasn't so far. Color on this, you get a little bit of a golden color. Now that could be from the age. You know, it's about 3 years on it. A little bit of a golden hue to it. Kind of, yeah, interesting. Let's see what we get on the nose. So I definitely get some like soil elements, rocks, sand, lemon, melon, maybe even a little bit of cantaloupe coming through. Let's see what we get on the palate. Getting some herbal quality to this one, which is really cool. The melon, definitely a citrus, like heading toward kind of between lime and lemon. Maybe just a touch of apple, and definitely kind of a crushed rock element on the finish, but not dominant. So this is a really fresh, clean Picpoul. It's a 22. It's still holding up really nicely, which is very cool. 11 bucks. This is a solid white wine. That cantaloupe element comes through on the back of the mid palate, a little bit into the finish. I like the finish. It's very mineral driven, good acidity, good balance to this wine. I'm going to go straight up the solid Picpoul. Let's move on to the 2022 Ormarine Picpoul de Panay. This rolls in at $15. So what I love about these wines is hard to find a super expensive Picpoul, really is. And they're perfect with oysters, clams, mussels, all of that. They'd also be good with chicken, I would believe. There you go. $15. Color on this is very similar to the Unique. Kind of a golden color there, if you can see that. Maybe some Lee's contact. Lee's is the expended yeast. They leave it on there just a little bit just to give it some texture. I noticed the Unique had just a little bit of texture, not absolutely bone dry. So this one has a little bit of a diesel component coming through on the nose. I'm getting some herbal qualities, some orange peel, and some lemon zest coming through. There's an interesting, slightly like fig blended with citrus notes coming through as well. Let's see what we get on the palate. Definitely solid Picpoul. 2022. This is a 22 as well. Here I thought the Unique was, you know, a little bit older, but this is drinking fantastic, nice, fresh citrus notes come through right up front, into the mid palate, into the finish, where you also get some crushed rot notes as well. There's a little bit of an herbal component coming through on this one, and just a touch of saline. Not a lot, just a touch, just a kiss, as I like to say. This one actually, the minerality comes through right up front, kind of a dusty rock component right from the front into the mid palate, into the finish. It's consistent in there. When I say dusty rock, hopefully you can understand what I'm trying to say. You know that if you lick the rock, just, you know, that taste is there, but it doesn't taste like dirt. Just so you understand that. It's the essence of that. The smell, maybe, might be a better way to phrase it. It's always hard with tasty notes, describing in wine. A lot of people argue that maybe they're unnecessary, but I tell you what, I've worked in the store, been doing this department for a long, many years, and I get a lot of compliments on the signs that I write. People love them, they like to see what they're getting, and I try to be as honest as possible and as close to the descriptors I can get. So they are very beneficial. This has a little stainless steel element coming through as well on the backside. Long finish on this one. Very bright, crisp. You get the idea of lip stinger on this one, but not over the top. Good balance with the acidity. I'm going to go straight up beyond that one, maybe hedging towards B+. Solid Picpoul. Now we're getting on to the a.k.a. Picpoul de Panay. This is the 2000, and let's see if we can find the vintage on this. You know, you'd think you would just look at it and be right there, but it's not. Bear with me. Oh, there it is, 2023. So this is the freshest of the bunch. 2023. I sell a lot of this Picpoul. And I apologize for not researching the actual regions where these come from. But the idea here is I just like people to try Picpoul. Sometimes you can get bogged down in those details, which a lot of you geeky people like, and I like it too. But I just want people to enjoy Picpoul because it's such a good white wine, good with food, and certainly good on the deck on a hot summer day. So this one isn't quite as golden as the other two, maybe a little lighter, more into the hay color. Let's see what we get on the nose. a.k.a. Picpoul de Panay. This rolls in at $14. I get sort of a slight apple, melon, definitely dried herbs, more toward the hay side of dried herbs. So some of these wines, you know, it's a provincial kind of herbs de Provence sort of soil, you know, there's scrubby vines and all that up there, especially in the north. So you get that kind of, you know, herbal component. I get a little bit of banana. I hate to use that term, but that is what I'm getting. Just a slight hint of banana. Melon, herbal, and just a little bit of saline. Let's see what we get on the palate. Wow, this is such a good Picpoul. It has good texture to it, so this might have, that doesn't have as much lees contact as the other ones. I get that nice dried herb component coming through. Definitely minerality, definitely a little bit of saline, melon, apple, a little bit of kind of, I don't know, the meat of the orange, and maybe the meat of a lemon, you know what I mean, the inside of it. Yeah, I like that kind of essence of saltiness that comes through, but it's not salty per se, but you know, you can feel it in there. Very good complexity on this Picpoul. Long finish, just like the second one. And I just think this is a fantastic example of Picpoul. They're all fantastic. I'm going to go B+, straight up B+ on that. And linger on the finish, and I even get just a hint of white pepper as well. Yeah, solid wine. The dried herbs come through on the finish as well. Good minerality. Excellent. All three, excellent. All three very affordable white wines from southern France that are great food wines if you're having oysters, clams, mussels, if you're having some cod or even roasted chicken, this would work really well. A salad would be okay. Just don't use balsamic vinegar, please. I love balsamic vinegar on my salad. Just say it. So I hope you've tried a Picpoul. I'm not sure if you can walk into any grocery store and get one. You might have to go to a wine shop, or you can come to my store, King's Market, and you'll find lots of them. I have them stacked. I have 3 or 4 on the shelf. I have lots of them because I love Picpoul, and I'd like you to try them as well. How many of you out there have tried a Picpoul, and do you have a favorite? Please let me know in the comments. Thanks for taking a little time out of your day. I appreciate your support. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe. You can see what's coming up. I got a lot of great episodes coming up in the near future. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.